Manchester United's midfield rebuild could be the most dramatic summer story in the Premier League. One deal is already done, another is hanging in the balance, and a potential marquee signing from Real Madrid? Well, that one just got a whole lot more complicated. Because while INEOS are working hard behind the scenes to transform this squad ahead of the Champions League return, rivals are moving fast, and not just on the pitch. Tottenham are trying to steal one of United's top targets right from under their nose. Liverpool are circling. And Fabrizio Romano has dropped a bombshell about the one player INEOS actually dream of signing and why it might not happen. This is everything you need to know, right here on Trafford Wire. Let's get into it. Let's start with the confirmed news. Because amid all the chaos and speculation, Manchester United actually have a deal done. Ederson, the Brazilian midfielder from Atalanta, is coming to Old Trafford. ESPN have confirmed it. United have agreed an initial fee of around £35 million, with up to £4 million more in performance-related add-ons. Ederson is set to sign a contract until 2030, with the option of a further year. He'll be the first signing of the Michael Carrick era as permanent head coach. And there's a reason United moved so quickly. Atletico Madrid had been closing in on him. INEOS spotted the window, acted fast, and got the deal done. Now, who exactly is Ederson? He's a 26-year-old, all-action, box-to-box midfielder. Hard-working, combative, excellent in transitions. He was a key part of Atalanta's squad, and his profile screams exactly the kind of midfielder Michael Carrick needs in the engine room. Think about what United have been missing since Casemiro's departure. Presence, control, the ability to win the ball back and drive forward with purpose. Ederson gives you that. But here's where things get interesting. INEOS aren't stopping at one midfielder. They've made it absolutely clear. United need at least 2 midfield signings this summer. Possibly 3. Casemiro has left. Manuel Ugarte is expected to be sold. The squad is crying out for reinforcements. And with Champions League football back on the menu, the ambition has to match the occasion. So who else are they targeting? This is where it gets really complicated. The name at the top of the list, and I mean the very top, is Mateus Fernandes. Now, if you haven't heard of him yet, let me tell you, you will be hearing about him all summer. He's 21 years old, Portuguese, a product of Sporting CP's academy. He moved to Southampton, then West Ham signed him last summer for over £40 million. He's already made his senior debut for the Portugal national team. And here's the thing. Despite West Ham's relegation, this kid had a serious season. 39 appearances, 5 goals, 5 assists, nominated for the Premier League Young Player of the Season award. West Ham know what they have, and they are not letting him go cheap. The Hammers have set a starting price of £80 to £85 million. They've made it clear, to anyone who wants to talk, bring us the proposals. The price starts at £85 million, and they hope to get more with clubs fighting over him. Now Manchester United. They've been working on this one for a long time. Team Talk reported that United got in touch with Fernandes' agents as far back as May. Sources confirmed at the time that Fernandes is, quote, extremely keen on a move to Old Trafford. And then Football Insider dropped something significant. They reported that Manchester United have now agreed personal terms with Mateus Fernandes. Read that again. Personal terms. Done. That means the player wants to come. He's agreed what he'd earn. He wants to play for Michael Carrick. And there's a beautiful detail behind that. Bruno Fernandes, United's captain and talisman, has reportedly been pushing for this move. Mateus Fernandes has spoken about Bruno as an idol. The connection is real. The pull of Old Trafford, the Champions League, and arguably one of the best midfielders in the world telling you to come. That's a powerful combination. So why isn't the deal done? Because United are offering around £60 to £65 million plus add-ons. West Ham want £80 to £85 million. There's a significant gap. And that gap has created an opening that Tottenham Hotspur have sprinted through. Here's where things become genuinely complicated. Transfer expert Fabrizio Romano confirmed it. Tottenham have called the agent of Mateus Fernandes. They've made contacts through super agent Jorge Mendes. They are now very close to agreeing personal terms with the player, according to Matteo Moretto. Sky Sports have confirmed Tottenham are willing to pay £85 million for him. That's the West Ham asking price, met in full. Now, here's the nuance that matters. Reports from a reliable X account tracking this deal closely state that as of now, Mateus Fernandes is not keen on a move to Spurs. He wants Manchester United. That has been consistent throughout. But Roberto De Zerbi wants the player. He wants to talk to him. He wants to make his case. And if Spurs can get him to agree personal terms, then suddenly the race looks very different. Tottenham's play is clever. They're watching the gap between United's offer and West Ham's valuation. They're hoping the deal collapses, and if it does, they'll be right there with a full asking price offer, ready to move immediately. And it gets more crowded. Liverpool are reportedly accelerating their interest too. Reports from Football 365 suggest they are looking to hijack the Fernandes deal. Real Madrid have also been credited with interest, so what started as a fairly straightforward pursuit has turned into a multi-club bidding war, with United holding the player's preference, but potentially falling behind in the financial race. The question now is whether INEOS will go to the required fee, whether they blink, whether they stretch to the £80 million mark that West Ham are demanding. And here's the brutal reality. If United lose Mateus Fernandes to Tottenham after the player publicly preferred them, after Bruno Fernandes worked behind the scenes to push the deal, that would be a damaging failure. Not just on the pitch, but in terms of the message it sends to targets across Europe. That is the Fernandes situation in full, and it is far from resolved. Now let's talk about the headline that has United fans absolutely buzzing. Aurélien Tchouameni, Real Madrid. Could it actually happen? Let me lay out exactly what we know and what we don't, because there's a lot of noise around this one. Tchouameni is 26 years old, a French international defensive midfielder. He's been at Real Madrid since 2022, when they signed him from Monaco for around €80 million. He stepped in to fill the gap when Casemiro left for Manchester United. The irony of this situation is not lost on anyone. Last season he made 45 starts in 49 appearances. That's a regular starter, a key player. So why is he available? Real Madrid, under Jose Mourinho, are reshaping their squad following a second consecutive trophyless season. Multiple players are expected to be made available, and according to The Athletic, Real Madrid are now prepared to listen to offers for Tchouameni. Team Talk reported that Tchouameni has been informed there are no guarantees over his long-term future at the Bernabeu. His contract has entered its penultimate year. If he won't sign a new deal, Madrid may decide to cash in now rather than risk losing him on a free. There was also a reported dressing room incident involving Tchouameni and teammate Federico Valverde, though sources close to the situation say that's not a direct factor in his possible availability. The bigger picture here is a squad overhaul. So where does Manchester United fit in? Reports from Mundo Deportivo stated that United have been interested in Tchouameni for some time and could look to move this summer. Team Talk stated that communication between the players' camp and Manchester United has been maintained throughout, and sources in Spain indicated Real Madrid would seek a fee in the region of approximately £87 million to approve a sale. But then, Fabrizio Romano spoke. And what Romano said should be heard very carefully. The transfer guru confirmed that there is no doubt Manchester United, and specifically INEOS, dream of signing Aurélien Tchouameni. He is considered the perfect profile. Physical, dominant, world-class. But then Romano outlined two significant obstacles. First, the transfer fee. Real Madrid's valuation is in the region of £87 million. For a player who hasn't won anything in 2 years and whose contract is running down, that is a premium price. And United's budget is not unlimited. Second, the salary. Tchouameni is on a very substantial wage at Real Madrid. Romano specifically said that for Manchester United to match that salary, it was simply not part of the plans. So here we have a situation where United love the player. The player has been described as a dream signing. There is contact, there is interest on both sides, but the financial reality is creating a genuine barrier. Now here's the detail most fans might have missed. There are reports, from Sport in Spain, that United have also made contact at a formal level regarding Real Madrid midfielder Eduardo Camavinga. So, it's not just Tchouameni. INEOS are exploring the Madrid midfield broadly, looking for any opening that can be turned into a deal. And interestingly, reports have also suggested that Mourinho at Real Madrid would consider allowing Tchouameni to leave specifically to fund a move for Mateus Fernandes, which creates a bizarre domino effect where one United target's departure could potentially fund another United target's stay at Madrid. Football, never simple. The bottom line on Tchouameni is this: it is a genuine pursuit. It is a dream for INEOS. But the fee and the salary make it complicated, and at this stage, it would be wrong to say a deal is imminent. What we can say is that the door at Real Madrid has opened. United are aware. And if the financial circumstances shift, if Ugarte is sold, if funds are freed up, this could move quickly. Which brings us to the wider midfield picture. Because United aren't just looking at Fernandes and Tchouameni, INEOS have been casting the net wide, and two other names have emerged: Alex Scott of Bournemouth and Carlos Baleba of Brighton. Let's start with Alex Scott. He's 22, English, born in Guernsey. He's had a brilliant season for Bournemouth, helping them qualify for European football. He was in Thomas Tuchel's provisional England World Cup squad before missing out on the final selection. Sky Sports confirmed that Manchester United have made an initial inquiry to Bournemouth about Scott. United and Arsenal both reached out. The Cherries, however, made it very clear they don't want to sell. They've tabled a new improved contract offer. Scott hasn't signed it yet. But Bournemouth are not rolling out the welcome mat for any suitors. Their valuation? Reports suggest £60 million or more. Now here's the honest assessment from sources close to the United setup. Scott is on the radar, but his profile as a creative midfielder may not fully fit what Carrick needs right now. With Kobbie Mainoo returning to form, Ederson coming in, and Bruno Fernandes already in the number 10 role, what United arguably need is someone who covers ground, wins tackles, and drives forward with energy. Which is why Carlos Baleba of Brighton has also been mentioned. Team Talk reported that United are viewing Baleba and Scott as attainable options, particularly if the sale of Manuel Ugarte frees up additional funds. Baleba is a Cameroonian international, physically imposing, athletic, a different kind of profile to Scott. His price tag has reportedly dropped from around £100 million, which put United off last summer when they agreed personal terms with him, to approximately £80 million. Still substantial, but potentially more achievable depending on incoming funds. Now here's the math that matters. If United sell Ugarte, sign Ederson, sign Fernandes, and then find a way to land a third midfielder, we could be talking about close to £200 million spent on the engine room alone this summer. That is an enormous statement of intent. That is the kind of rebuild that changes a team's identity. And that is what the return to the Champions League demands. So let's bring it all together, because there's a lot happening, and it's moving fast. Manchester United have done one deal. Ederson from Atalanta, agreed. Initial fee around £35 million. The first building block of the midfield rebuild. Mateus Fernandes remains United's number one priority for a second midfielder. Personal terms are reportedly agreed. The player wants to come. Bruno Fernandes is pushing. But West Ham's £80 to £85 million demand and Tottenham's aggressive pursuit mean this deal is not done. Not even close. And United need to decide, do they match the asking price, or do they risk losing him? Aurélien Tchouameni is the dream. INEOS love him. There's contact, there's interest from Madrid's side. But the fee and the salary present real obstacles. It is not imminent, but it is alive. And in the background, Alex Scott and Carlos Baleba represent contingency plans, quality alternatives if the bigger moves don't come together as hoped. This is a pivotal summer for Manchester United. Michael Carrick needs the tools to compete at the highest level again. INEOS are trying to deliver, but the transfer market is ruthless. Other clubs have money, other clubs have ambition, and the clock is ticking. So what do you think? Should Manchester United push ahead with these deals? Is Mateus Fernandes worth the £80 million or more that West Ham are demanding, especially when Tottenham are right there, ready to pay? And if Tchouameni is truly a dream signing, should INEOS stretch the budget to make it happen? Or is that fee too much of a risk? Which player would be your priority signing? And what happens next? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on notifications for more Manchester United updates here on Trafford Wire. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.